Why don't you join me in a round of applause for Nancy Philpar. We are so fortunate to have such a strong board of directors. I talked to some of my colleagues, particularly those in other nonprofits, and we get 90% to 100% attendance at all of our board meetings. It's pretty amazing. I'm Denise Dalrymple. I'm privileged to be your CEO. It is an honor and a privilege to work here. I can't believe that you guys hired me 5 years ago, and I can't believe I survived the last 5 years. So, both those things are true. My presentation today, this is hard for me having to stand up here because I like to walk around and talk to you guys, but I'm going to do my best. Okay, I'm going to talk about 3 things today. I'm going to talk about achievements, challenges, and opportunities. I've created a lot of slides for you guys. I'm not going to read all of those slides. We tried very hard to make sure that everybody had copies this year. Feedback we've gotten from people don't want to have to go online to find it, so again, this year we provided copies. We have not given you copies of every single slide because you don't need 5 slides of questions or the intermediate things. And then we did put them in color so that you could read the charts better. If you do want one, shoot me an email. You want to show this back at your district or to your group, shoot me an email. I'd be very happy to send you a copy. Oh, all right, here we go. Okay, in the area of marketing and communications, you can see here that we've had some really good growth, and I'm just so proud of the communications team. I can hardly stand it. Michael Baird is that real tall guy. He's the man behind the curtains right now. You've seen him walking around. He's our chief communications officer. He and his team have just done a beautiful job. We have this new young woman that's doing this cool thing called Pinterest. If you haven't done Pinterest, you guys should go and check it out because it's pretty astonishing what she's doing. Our Instagram is pretty great. Yabankia Jenkins, our 12-panel mailer. And then we've got a whole bunch of earned media placements, and what that means is that we've got $40,000 worth of media that we did not pay for. And so I'm really proud of our marketing communications. There's a whole bunch of stuff out on the table. You're welcome to take those materials, please. Take those with you. They're here for you. We don't want to have to take them back to the office. They're here for you guys, and please make sure those get out into circulation. We also have redid our website last summer. We have the members-only hub in the back that we hope is useful for folks. We had Cookie Van was so successful the year before that we established a second Cookie Van. It's amazing what a wrap can do with a dusty old camp van. You put the wrap on it, it becomes Cookie Van. It's pretty awesome. We have the new recruitment campaigns, and then again for the second year in a row, we won Best Choreographed Group at the Americans Thanksgiving Day Parade. And that's, let's do a round of applause for the girls who did that. We get so much publicity from that, it's absolutely amazing. People tell me later that they didn't realize the Girl Scouts were still around and so on, and that's a very cool thing. There's Cookie Van, one of the Cookie Vans. Look how cute that is. Apparently you can take those cookies on and off. They're magnetic and use them for other purposes. And that was at the Winter Blast. All right, now I'm going to talk to you about membership. Nancy shared some pretty depressing information. And during our 5-year tenure here, we've had the same similar kind of drop. At the end of last year, I think we had a 5 or 6% drop. However, the things that we have been doing in terms of reaching out to girls, trying to streamline our volunteer structure, improving our communications, learning from our mistake, we eliminated the troop organized position, put that position back in place. I will tell you, if you look at the GSSEM section, as of Monday, our girl membership is 2.5% higher this year than it was last year. And how about a round of applause for us all that? So we are bucking the national trend. Now the adult membership is down. 4.3% this year. And so that's something we're going to have to really take a look at. And I think we have a game changer coming down the road. And then the pain and agony we've gone through in establishing that new volunteer structure, probably smoothing out, getting those positions filled. Unlike other councils, we really are trying to figure out how to reduce the amount of hours that volunteers spend. Now, looking at the national this year, and when I say this year, starting October 1st, this is the annual meeting, and we report from, and the annual report that you get goes through September 30th of last year. This information is about what's been going on. This slide since October 1st to today. And so, the previous year, 35 councils, oh no, this year, 35 councils are up year to year compared to only 25 last year. The National is projecting a 3.1% decrease in membership overall, but that's hard to say. We have between here and the end of the year. We figured that we will be flat probably because of the decrease in volunteers. But if you look at, and I didn't make this slide, I'll do this next year. If you look at our retention rate, it's gone up every single year. And so the National, their retention rate for girls is something like 51%. Our retention rate is what, Barb?
60.
About 60%. And same thing with our volunteers. And what that means when that keeps going up each year is that people are choosing to come and stay with us. I'm extremely proud of the fact that for our older girls, the average in our older girls from 9th grade through 12th grade, our membership is up 30% from this time last year. And so we're keeping our older girls and they're continuing to stay with us, and I'm very, very pleased, very pleased about that. Where we see some weakness, I think, is in 3rd grade and 5th grade. All right. So here's some statistics as a whole. As of 2012 to 2013, plus or minus, that was for 9/30 of last year, comparing the year before and then what happened this last year. And you can see a big drop in adults and a 7.7 decrease. And so going from a 7.7 decrease to being flat or a 2.5% increase in girls, I think is really, really good. All right. Some of our other achievements include we developed the community staff teams that last year, and this affects us more internally, but it does improve services for you because I have everybody in each department is better knowing what's going on in other departments. And that's our effort so that when you're dealing with people in council administration, you don't have one person telling you one thing and another person telling you another thing. And so these community teams have community goals and are trying to figure out how to work and make life for volunteers easier and how to better do recruitment. Another big thing, and people, often you think of Girl Scouts, you wouldn't think that we have a lot of conflict management, but we do. We often have parents who are unreasonable. You guys are troop leaders, you know what I'm talking about. We often have issues sometimes between co-leaders. We just have issues with people. And so what we're trying to do is to train all of us, particularly staff and operational volunteers, to be more sophisticated on how to handle conflict in a positive way so that things don't get out of hand. I think it's only natural to know that if you don't manage a little thing, it can grow into a big thing. And then by the time it comes to my office, oh my gosh, things have really gotten derailed, and so we want to try to nip that in the bud. So we have, I think, a real good model, and I'm very, very happy that our volunteer facilitators are going to be taking this over and helping spread this competency throughout the organization. And then we have a volunteer relations specialist, and that's the person basically that we've trained to handle conflict management. And so we have one person who gets referrals from the staff, sometimes from operational volunteers, and if it looks really, really ugly, then we have Matt, goes, investigates, deals with it. This is my first year ever. I had a volunteer get a personal protection order against a parent. I was stunned about that. And then turns out it really was a revenge situation. She really didn't need the PPO from, it's that kind of silly stuff. And as I said, if you're a troop leader and been here for many years, sometimes some people are unreasonable. I talked a little bit about the troop organizer system, so we got that better in place this last year, provided great materials for people. We have the membership and event registration was upgraded on the eBiz and then our new website. I'm really pleased about this. By September 30th of last year, we had 36,000 attendees at all council types events. So series events, training, camp programs for girls and adults. As of February 28th, we had 19,000, and we will probably exceed either 43,000 attendees at these various events. Although there's so many people going to this Mall Mania thing, when is that? Is that tonight? Tonight? We might break that record. I think it's huge, going to be huge tonight. Here's some of our challenges. United Way's not coming back. We're not going to see that money. Before we merged, the local councils got anywhere from total $3 to $4 million, and now we get maybe $100,000. That United Way money helped pay for a lot of stuff. It helps subsidize the camps. It helps subsidize a lot of special things that we no longer have. We no longer have that luxury. I'm pleased, though, that our foundation and corporate funding was stable from last year. We took a big hit after the crash in 2008, 2009, and was bad. And then we crawled our way back up, and then so from last year to this year, it's been pretty stable. And funders still want to know about outcomes. They want to know, what are you achieving? And so that means we're going to have to continue or step up our game in surveying the girls, surveying leaders. What did we do? How did we do it? We have to do that for so many different reasons. In terms of last year, this time last year when we were having the annual meeting, it looked to us like we were $1 million off in our revenue on the cookie sale because we had so many fewer girls selling cookies from the previous year. And boy, we really had to tighten our belt, didn't fill positions, did a whole lot of things that we didn't do last year so that we could come close to breaking even by September 30th of last year. That was a pretty rough year. This year, the initial order is down 4%, but again, compared to nationally, Little Brownie Baker serves, I think, 70 out of the 112 councils, so they have the most. And the initial orders around the country are down 8.3. And ours is only down about 4%. I think part of that had to do with there's a lot of different reasons, but we've extended the sale. I'm pretty confident we might be down a little bit, but I think we'll be okay. We'll be able to manage it. We have more girls selling this year than we had last year, which I think was a good thing. Remember what happened last year? We raised the price to $4, and so we had an 8% decrease in the per girl average, which is what we budgeted for. We just had fewer girls selling. So this year we have more girls selling, and we'll have to see. One of our big challenges continues to be camp. We have these big properties. They're real expensive. They're absolutely beautiful. I don't get it why people don't come. I don't get it. And if you know anything about me, I was a big camper. As a youth, went every single year. My family camped. I myself camped with my roommate. Early in my 20s, camped all over in a pup tent over in the United States. So maybe I'm a little biased, but I don't understand. But being the hard-nosed CEO that I am, I'm telling you folks, this is a problem. This last year, in Camp Hawthorne Hollow and Camp Innisfree, we only had 660 girls go to summer camp. Only 660 girls go to summer camp. Girls are going to other camps too, but they're not coming to ours. We had then about 4,000 some girls and adults, and counting adults, came to weekend camp or to core camp, and so 5,000 campers is about 12% of the membership, but the camps use 27% of our budget. And without that United Way money, it's getting increasingly hard for us to continue to subsidize that. I just have to tell you. And I know people are really attached and really emotional and really love their camps. Well, then you need to support it. Then people need to show up. People need to go, because if we're not using these camps, then we're gonna be in a position we're gonna have to sell them. So that's just a word to the wise. I said it last year, I said it the year before, and I'm saying it again this year. And we're subsidizing camp to the tune of about $1.6 million a year. Do you know what I could do with $1.6 million a year? in terms of providing better services and better events and so on and so forth to girls, I could do some pretty fantastic things. And instead what we're doing is spending our budget on heating empty buildings. So please keep that in mind. Another challenge this year has been the whole social issues. Oh my gosh, it has been so vile that it's just been ridiculous. That required, I sent a letter out to everyone, right? And then that got picked up, and then we have people unhappy about this. I had the head of Planned Parenthood call me this last week and is mad because, you know, we're putting them down, and said, no, we're not doing anything. We are trying to be neutral. We're trying to take no position. And apparently in this country nowadays, taking no position means that you are evil somehow. That the people who are pro are mad at you because you haven't taken a position. The people that are anti are mad at you because you haven't taken a position. And I keep hearing over and over that Girl Scouts has become more liberal in the last 20 years. You know what? We've been this way for 112 years, folks. Wake up. Julia Gordon-Low was very controversial in her day. And Girl Scouts has many years. I talked to some of my I shouldn't say old, some of my more senior volunteers who have been Girl Scouts for 60 and 70 years. And one of the things I've learned is it seems to go into a 20-year cycle where people see Girl Scouts as really, really radical and then not so much, and really, really radical and then not so much. We're in that era now where people seem to see Girl Scouts as real radical. We aren't. We're neutral. So it's hard to say about the impact on the membership, but we have whole private schools that are no longer with Girl Scouts. They don't want to deal with that. They don't want to deal with the competition with us and American Heritage Girls. I'm happy, though, that our national organization now is taking that seriously and is starting to take some steps to push back a little bit. Letters have been sent to organizations that are improperly using the Girl Scout logo and linking that with Planned Parenthood. And so they're telling people, you cannot use our logo that way. Ana Maria Chavez, if you haven't seen it, has done the following video. So let's watch this before I go into the rest of my speech.
Hello, my name is Ana Maria Chavez, and I'm the CEO of Girl Scouts of the USA. Recently, various organizations and individuals announced their intention to boycott Girl Scout cookies this year based on mistaken beliefs about our movement. These same individuals also believe Girl Scouts has become too political. Here's the bottom line. At Girl Scouts, we stand for girls. Our mission is to help today's girls develop the skills they need to become tomorrow's leaders. We stand for giving girls the opportunity to develop into strong, confident, courageous adults who are committed to making the world a better place. To quote the Girl Scout promise, we are committed to serving God and our country and to helping others at all times. We do not now, nor have we ever, had a relationship with Planned Parenthood. Girl Scouts of the USA believes that reproductive issues are deeply private matters best left to families. I find it unsettling that anyone would use the Girl Scout brand to have very adult conversations. A box of Girl Scout cookies is not a political statement. It is an investment in a girl and her dreams and in your local communities and in the leadership of tomorrow. Teaching a girl to be a leader means giving her the values and confidence to lead. My own faith is central to who I am. Yet Girl Scouts remains secular because we believe faith is intimate and personal. We remain secular not to minimize a girl's religious experience, but to cultivate girls of all religious traditions while excluding no one. Because true leadership transcends politics and religion. It transcends race and ethnicity. Teaching leadership means celebrating women of all backgrounds who have done great things for others. I hope I have cleared up any misconceptions out there about the nature of the Girl Scout movement and what it means to buy Girl Scout cookies. Thank you.
For some people, that's still not going to be enough, and we can't help that. And I guess the bottom line is Girl Scouts isn't for everyone. We can't serve every girl everywhere, but we can serve most girls, and we can do benefit for every girl that we serve. Now I'm going to switch a little bit and talk about what I think is some really good stuff coming down the line. We have some new technology. It's coming, and it's coming this year. We had talked about getting rid of the magazines because the magazines are not that well supported. People don't want to sell them. They're kind of a pain. And we also talked about at one time looking at just eliminating the fall sale entirely. But the fact is that our longer-term troops who are more established and have the time, we have a lot of people that do sell the fall product and really, really like that. And so what we've been thinking internally is to say, you know, if you're a new troop leader, just get going, focus on the Girls Guide, try to get organized, and then sell cookies in the fall. Don't try to do it all at once and sell cookies in the spring. Don't try to do all of that stuff in the fall. And then maybe the next year you'll be in a position to do that. Then we had, but I digress. We had the magazine and cookie vendor come in, the fall product vendor came in with the guy selling the magazines. This man has such a cool app, and I'm going to show that to you in a minute. And then, coming this year, I think is going to be the game changer. And I think this is the Volunteer Toolkit app. I think it's going to be a game changer. So let's get into it. The new magazine vendor is the M2 Media Group. This is an interesting, very interesting fellow. He basically joined a tech company and they do all kinds of stuff, but because his background was with QSP. He was really interested in bringing in that business as well. And so in the last couple of years, he has developed this new, and this is a very cool thing, this app, and then got licensed by GSUSA a year ago, January, as a new product sales vendor. And he built a very cool platform for Girl Scouts. And basically what it is that the girls get to develop an icon. These is just an example, but it's pretty cool for the girls themselves. They develop an icon that can represent themselves so that when they send out emails through this system, then they can make the thing look like themselves. These are only some of them. You can change. You can pick lots of different hairstyles, skin color, the eyes, the mouth, the uniforms. He said his daughter and his niece told him that the girls have to have choices of shoes, and so that's going to change. That's going to change with the fall. And basically, kind of what it looks like is that there is a video that the girl can make, or you can use the standard one, but a girl can make a video at home and say, "Hi, family, please buy my stuff." A real short thing there actually is a script. There's pre-populated please buy, there's pre-populated thank you, so on and so forth. The thing is really slick. And what's cool about it is that it works with the nut and candy sale too. So I think you guys might find this kind of fun. I know we did. It was really pretty cool. Somebody told me there's another kind of software that does this where you can, I can't remember, but anyway, I wasn't familiar, and so it's going to be pretty cool. All right. To follow up what Nancy was talking about, GSUSA, because of the K-5 initiative, they finally heard us, and they've heard from people around the country. And you know, there's customer pain points, and we're talking about customers. We're talking about our volunteers. You guys are our customers, and the girls are our customers. And so council processes and technology is not aligned. And so we are very painfully trying to integrate all of our systems. And we have a lot of systems. We're a place that runs camps, we run retail stores, we put on series of events, people have membership, we do, you know, and then we have local communities put on events and series. We're a very complicated organization. There's also been inconsistent communication from members to members, and so might hear one thing from one department and a different thing from another department. We've worked very hard at GSSEM to try to fix that. The time commitment required of troop leaders, the average surveys at other councils say the average troop leader puts in 200 hours a year, 200 hours a year, and that's an average. And so you know some folk are putting in a lot more than that, and yet the average volunteer opportunity in this country is about 80 hours. And so we're asking people to do more than twice, put in twice as many hours as you would in other volunteer opportunity. And I'm suspecting that's if everything goes well, that it's about 200 hours. And sometimes things don't go well because of the aforementioned people who are not as cooperative as they should be. And then our volunteer training and onboarding are overwhelming. Troop leaders are unclear what's expected of them, and the fact is we do have a lot of rules. Well, you know, a lot of it, we do need those rules because we do want girls to keep safe. And volunteers do, you're acting in local parentage, which means that you are acting like the parent when that child is in your custody. So yeah, we do have a lot of rules, and we do have a lot of safety rules. But the problem is, where can you find it when you need it, instead of having to go through all of these, you know, and we love to provide you with these, you know, these big rule books, but how can you find all the things you need when you need it? So what GSUSA is proposing is another new, but this time, this one is really sweeping. This one is really sweeping. And for those of you who are also Boy Scout volunteers, this will look really familiar to you, because this is kind of like what the Boy Scouts does. Instead of every local chapter doing their own thing, basically there is a national platform. And so we will be jumping on that national platform in the coming months. Our website will be connected to that national platform. And then instead, we will put together our volunteer systems with our web platform, with this volunteer toolkit, which is the app I talked about, and then of course the digital cookie. Digital cookie isn't here yet, it's on the way. On the way. So if you can kind of see that, conceptually what that looks like, like I said, I provided a copy, so I'm not going to read it to you. And then this I thought was cool. I've got all kinds of stuff about this, but I only pulled out the ones I thought would be interesting to you. What I like about this one is if you look up there, you see software of places you've heard of. That's what gives me confidence. Instead of GSUSA, again, trying to work with the vendor to do a custom application, we're looking at doing more of an off-the-shelf application that works for companies around the country. And so I'm talking about big companies like Oracle or Amazon or places that do a lot of online work. And this kind of also will give you a mental map about how the whole web thing, or the whole electronic interface is supposed to work. At the bottom you have the IT operating model and the sourcing foundation. That's the platform. Then if you look at the far right, that box, Girl Volunteer Recruitment, Onboarding, Alumni Tracking, that's going to be through the Salesforce, and they have Sales Cloud, Run Cause, and then Service Cloud. We really need to up our game in terms of our customer service. And then flowing from that will be some of the collaborative stuff, internal staff communication. The reason that's important, again, is that one department then can communicate about another department, because you have questions or you have needs that cross our departments. And so we need to be able to respond to find your issues. On the far left, you'll talk about we talk about the whole digital experience platform. So we have the web, we have content, we have learning management. That is to be determined. That's coming. That's not going to be this year. But out of that is the whole digital cookie, which is being developed, and then finally through that a virtual pathway. And then containing the digital content, the library, and then online learning and so on. The whole idea is to make this stuff a lot more accessible to you. I have some information here about the Volunteer Toolkit app. This is all I know about this. I wish I knew more about this. So I will not be able to answer all of your questions about this. We've seen some webinars about it. It looks absolutely cool. It's been tested at some other councils, but I personally have not had my hands on it, and nobody at our council has had their hands on it yet. And so this is what I can tell you about it. I think it's going to be a game changer. The app is aimed at troop leaders and co-leaders. Parents and guardians will be able to have a window to take a look in, to see about meetings, to see about calendar events, to be able to see some of the troop activities that when it strikes them, they can go take a look. They will have read-only, though, view of what's going on with this app. The first release is for K-5 troop leaders and parents, and then it will, at some point, go through K-12. But right now, the focus is on K through 5. The features are, troop leaders will be able to make changes and updates within the toolkit, because it'll live up there in the cloud someplace. You'll be able to access it either with your phone, your tablet, your smartphone, or your PC, okay? And think how cool that is. If you have co-leaders or several leaders, you can toggle between troops. Troop leaders, same troop, equal access. Leaders can still lead multi-level troops, but the toolkit will only be focused at just one level, like Daisy Brownie, because they haven't figured out how to make it more complicated than just one level per troop leader. So there'll be an annual plan, and so back at council administration, we'll be able to upload for people, here's the critical dates, this is when cookies are, this is when the annual meeting is, this is when you need to have your financial report done, yada, yada, yada. So we can put that up there on the toolkit so people know what the critical dates are. And then the leader can add all these other stuff themselves to their own, to this app, again, so that parents can see, can customize some of the meetings, will obviously organize where all your girls are in one place, allow people to send emails to parents, send the meeting notices, and so on and so forth. It really looks pretty cool. Another feature of it will be there's a little sidebar where you'll be able to call up council resources. I think it'll be a game changer. At the, I'm trying to see if she's here. At the delegate meeting, I was talking to a volunteer who was telling me about how much she loved Girl Scouts, but it was just so much work. And she was having a very hard time finding somebody at her school to take her place because she was not going to be a leader this next year. But it was so much work. Think how different it would be is if, as a leader, you could say, you know what, why don't you become a leader? You know what, it's really not that hard, look, because I've got this. How different would that be? Rather than telling people, I have to admit, it is 200 hours, and it is a lot of work, and there is a lot of paperwork, and it's really, but please come be a leader. Do you see the difference there? And we know from previously in our presentation that the best recruitment source is word of mouth. It always is word of mouth. If you can tell your friend that this is easy, you can do it, you'll be sure to have all the information you need, where you need it, you have the tools you need in order to get your job done, that's a very different thing than what we have now. Right now, I think people are leaders despite everything. And we need people to be leaders because and we need to maximize the amount of time that leaders get to spend with the girls and less time spending on all the bureaucratic stuff that we admittedly still need. So the fall product, that'll begin in September. That cool little icon, that's an easy one. The volunteer toolkit, we're hoping that will go live in August. We are also looking at, as part of this process for the volunteer toolkit, is a new way that people register. And I don't want to go into that today, but I will tell you we're hoping that it's a lot easier for people. The Proof of Concept Council, which is Wisconsin River Valleys and some other pilots, went from onboarding somebody taking from anywhere from 4 weeks to 4 months to 5 days. So people could come to the website, get their criminal record check, find out where the volunteer opportunities are, and then sign up. Watch the orientation videos. All along the way, you can shoot an email, or if you're getting stuck, then you can call up a customer care specialist to help you through it, and then you sign up for a volunteer opportunity. And so I'm very, very confident about this. I think this could be a game changer. You'll be hearing more about this. The aforementioned Barb Sosen, say hi Barb. right there, is going to be the handling the volunteer portion of the new Volunteer Systems Initiative. And so she'll be working with a lot of you to help talk to you about how it works and how we can best roll it out and stuff like that. So that's coming this summer. Finally, I want to say, as the board chair and the CEO, sometimes where we sit, we often see the problems. We often see the things that aren't so great. That's why coming up this spring are some of my favorite activities, which is the Girl Awards ceremony and the volunteer recognition. Those things just feed me so much. It keeps me going for another entire year. And that helps me remember the good stuff. And this is the good stuff. We are an inclusive organization. We have been since 1912. And we will continue to be for the next 100 years. We create ways for female leaders to reach and inspire girls. That's my job, is to help volunteers inspire girls. That's what I do. That's what has always been done for the last 100 years and will be for the next 100 years. We have a world-class program. We're going to better document our outcomes. And we have a worldwide movement of sisters. We have Girl Scouts via Girl Guides around the world. That's really, really significant, particularly in this modern age, that we understand that there are other women across the world that have the same hopes and dreams and wishes that we have. And most of all, we stand up for respect for girls. We want girls to be respected. This is who we are, this is where we've been, and this is where we're going to go. Are there any questions? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
How would somebody who's interested in that toolkit sign up to do testing?
How would somebody who's interested in that toolkit sign up to do testing? Talk to Barb Sosin in the back. I think we're going to go whole hog. I don't know that there's going to be a lot of testing. I think because the testing has kind of been done.
Yeah, well, and the reason I'm asking is because that's what I do for a living, is
Okay.
IT applications.
Do you, okay. Why don't you talk to Barb, raise your hand, Barb, in the back. The question was, how can you help with the testing? And so, thanks, I appreciate that. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
It said it was focusing on K through 5.
Yes.
But as a troop organizer with an older troop, I would want access to that so that I could talk through new leaders that are in the K through 5.
Absolutely. So the question was, a troop organizer, although this aimed at K through 5, the troop organizers would like access to this so they could walk through with people. We are figuring out what the license is and who gets the license and who has access, and we're figuring that out in the coming weeks. I know there'll be a lot of licenses for people, and it'll be really important for people to have that access. Yes, ma'am.
I'm a leader of older girls, and this type of technology is exactly what
I know.
I use all the time for
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
So I feel like they should get it right off the bat as well.
Oh, I'm not worried about the girls. Really, I'm not worried about the girls. I'm a little more worried about some of us in the back, in the behind the, not you, Michael, but the people behind the curtain, trying to get it all to work. That's my concern. We have to figure out how to make it to work, because people expect us to be like Amazon. They expect our systems because that's what we get. We get custom, service like this now on the internet, and the Girl Scout systems aren't like that. Kind of clunky. We know they are. I'm sorry. Did you have anything else? Okay. Any other questions? Yes, in the back.
Any idea as a group, if that's something that they're going to do to make it so that they can?
You can participate in it. You can participate in it. It's just the resources. See, part of this app is that there will be preloaded resources. So information about daisies, developmental needs of daisies, and so on. All that stuff is still all there in the journey materials, or it's in the Girls' Guides. That's all there. And so you can, all that information is there. It's just not going to be electronic, not for this first iteration. So they're warning us immediately that you're just going to have to pick one. So just pick one, and then that'll be what you'll get.
So those are going to give you like a pre-planned idea of what to do for your meeting?
Yes, absolutely.
So I guess my question would be to next year, like, daisy crowd and could we like do one pre-plan for like
Sure could, yeah, yeah. I think that's would work. That, frankly, that's what I would do with that, is I would use the one as a template for the other ones. Because basically the processes are the same. Girl-led learning by doing, cooperative learning, you know, opening with the promise and, you know, the structuring meetings that way. All right, any other questions? Okay. I have another video, and I think this is called Year in Review.
Journeys are about how we grow from the experiences along the way. Girl Scouting is about journeys. We want to share some of our journeys through Girl Scouting with you today. If I wasn't in Girl Scouts, I know I wouldn't have trustworthy, good-hearted friends by my side. Now I'm making new friends out of girls who aren't even in my troop.
I enrolled her in Girl Scouts because I was a Girl Scout for my entire life, and I learned so many great things about who I am as a person and leadership roles that I had throughout my years in Scouting. So I want my daughter to be able to experience that. She's a very apprehensive Daisy, so I'm hoping that Girl Scouts can kind of open her up and meet new people and learn to interact with people and just become a better person herself.
Along with the things that I learned, I also made amazing friends that I know I'll talk to and keep in contact with.
And I love watching the girls grow and teaching them the Girl Scout values. I really enjoy doing community service projects with them, and they have taught me to do more in the community that I didn't used to do. As a Girl Scout leader, I'm learning as they're learning, and it's probably my favorite hobby that I have right now is being with the girls.
I want to wear the uniform because I want people to know I'm proud to be a Girl Scout. Some of my friends don't get it. They ask, why are you still in Girl Scouts? Isn't that for little kids? This is my favorite question because I get to give an answer. I have done everything from making pizzas to scuba diving, from making pottery to, well, making speeches. It occurred to me later that the scuba lesson was kind of like Girl Scouts. They have exposed me to more and more challenging things that I never thought I could do. But with encouragement, patience, and time, I have learned to dive deep into life. I have learned to be confident and outgoing, and how to be the best me I can be for myself, and how to be the best friend I can be to others. The friendships I have made in Girl Scouts will last a lifetime.
Scouting helps turn girls into young leaders. If Scouting stays in our society, or even in our hearts, the change in it, or us, will always be for the better. If we keep Scouts coming, learning, and loving, then a chain reaction of girls will start. Anything will be possible, and we could change the world. Now my question for you is, will you be a part of that chain reaction?